Hey everybody, Mike Burkholder, Contra Costa. Today I'm here with Manny Solis, former Antioch City Councilman from 1995 to 2000?
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Manny's going to talk a little bit about their referendum against a recent marijuana ordinance that the City of Antioch basically approved without the infrastructure, which I think that's kind of the message that people are misinterpreting. It's not that you want to get rid of the marijuana, but it's that you want Antioch to first have the infrastructure. So can you tell us a little bit about the referendum and how your group got together and why you're doing it?
Certainly. The City Council approved an ordinance here in Antioch allowing unrestricted cannabis-related businesses within the City of Antioch. They identified a couple of zones where the businesses could operate, and we have felt a group of citizens got together. They've asked for some help. With my experience in terms of helping political campaigns and measures be brought to the voters of Antioch, they asked for my help and I was glad to assist them. What we're interested in doing, well, what we're not interested in doing is repealing Proposition 64. That was passed by the voters of California, making marijuana legal here in California. This initiative, this effort is not to try to reverse that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to bring some common sense to City Council and tell them that we feel that the city requires and needs a lot more infrastructure in place before these businesses can operate within the city limits of Antioch. First of all, what we're concerned about is the issue or impact on public safety. The Chief of Police even had made it very clear in testimony to the City Council that he and his department are not prepared for the types of businesses that this will bring. He cited concerns about robberies that have taken place in other parts of the Bay Area related to cannabis businesses, where there have been robberies where not only in large amounts of cash have been stolen, but also the marijuana inventory that was on hand that was also stolen. We also believe that there are problems with the two zones that have been identified, one of which is along Wilbur Avenue. It's in close proximity to the Antioch Youth Sports Complex, where each weekend there are hundreds of young people playing soccer and baseball in those fields. We don't believe that's a good mix of the business, that type of business, and that large amount of youth in the area. The second area is problematic also because it lies in the area between Costco and Auto Center Mall, the two largest tax revenue generators for the city. The problems are that if cannabis businesses start drawing the wrong type of clientele, where those two businesses are no longer comfortable operating within the City of Antioch, our concern is they could simply just pick up and move out to another community. We think that there should be more common sense, more thought given to where these businesses should be established within the City of Antioch, and it's clear that that hasn't happened. You don't put a cannabis-related business near a large grouping of youth, nor would you want them next to the largest tax revenue generators for the city. Again, no common sense that seems to have been applied there. Last but not least, Mike, there are the issues regarding the taxation that some people have pointed to as coming back to the city. That's a very unclear topic. At this point, the state of California allows taxation of up to 40% on cannabis-related products. But at that level of taxation, the studies have shown that there are people that migrate back to the black market because the pricing of a legitimately priced product is so high with a 40% tax that it's cheaper for them actually to go onto the streets and purchase product. So we don't think that there's enough thought given around the taxation issue. The revenue generated, is that a tax that will be enjoyed by the city, or will that be siphoned off by county and state sources? That again is an unknown factor.
Well, I think also the thing with Antioch is that 3 of the council members are pretty much, this will bring in revenue. This is revenue. It's going to be able to spend a lot of it. But his money really should not be the only concern to go ahead and move an ordinance forward.
I think that it needs to be much more than that. It needs to be a lot more common sense in terms of not only the impact on revenue, which is critical to the cities these days, but it's also one that needs to also incorporate some consideration for quality of life issues. Right now, we're battling an image problem here in Antioch, where in other parts of the Bay Area, we're really looked down upon as a ghetto community. That should not be the case. We deserve so much more than that. The other part of the problem is that we have, as a city, we've made a commitment to hire an economic development director as well as a contractor to help enhance the city's image. And we think that these two efforts really operate against one another. Having a business that has a lot of negative connotations associated with it, and then trying to also improve the image at the same time. Again, just keep in mind, this is not impacting medical dispensaries. People do require that especially under the direction of a doctor. This does not impact that. We're just saying that unrestricted retail types of cannabis operations probably are not appropriate for Antioch at this point.
Well, what I think what's interesting too is that, you know, they always say that the approval still will come back to the council and they'll fix it later and they'll add in more, you know, items, whatever they may be. But you've got a council member who was just quoted in a newspaper making the claim that Applebee's provides more crime than cannabis. Will you really get good policy with that kind of thinking?
I don't see how that's possible. That's, you know, the campaign sloganeering is not appropriate for someone who's making decisions on behalf of all of the citizens of Antioch. I think, you know, they need to take consideration into what people think, whether they go to church or not, whether they use cannabis or not, whether they're required to use it for medical purposes or not. We have to look at the greater picture and determine, is this the right community for that type of business? I really don't think that it is. I'd like to revisit just something really quickly, which is that cannabis businesses operate mostly under a cash system. And that's because traditional banking is regulated under federal law. Federal law also, under federal law, marijuana is still illegal. It's still considered a narcotic. California, we passed it under Prop 64. It's legal here. However, under federal law, it is still illegal, and there are problems with the banking system, and that which is why most of those businesses operate under a cash-only type of process.
And so what are the next steps if people want to get involved in your campaign? I know you're halfway there in the signatures. You need how many signatures?
We're going to need 5,200 signatures.
You're halfway there. So how do they get involved with the Not in Antioch movement?
Great question. They can either get in touch with us through Facebook. Is probably the best way to get a hold of us. We have a Facebook page, Not in Antioch, as a Facebook presence. We've been getting a lot of traction that way. We're gaining a lot of attention. Also, we have people stationed in a number of different retail locations, as well as the post offices here in Antioch, and a number of the churches here in Antioch have been agreeable to having a signature person on hand. So contacting us through one of them is also just fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're glad to have the extra help.
Well, Manny, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm Mike Burkle. This is Manny Solis. Please like, subscribe, follow. We'll see you next time on Contra Costa Today.
Thank you, Mike.